Here's a true fact about Arizona that still creeps people out. The desert is supposed to be quiet, but in parts of Arizona, especially near the Superstition Mountains, people have reported hearing something strange coming from underground. Back in the 1980s, a group of hikers near Lost Dutchman State Park camped overnight just off the trail. Around 2 a.m., they were woken up by a low, mechanical humming beneath their tents. One guy thought it was a generator or some kind of pipe. Then, the ground started vibrating, just slightly. They left at sunrise. But when they reported it, a ranger told them, "You're not the first. Some say there's something buried out there." Here's where it gets weird. Old maps from the 1800s show collapsed mine shafts in that area, but none have ever been found. And that low humming still gets reported. No source, no explanation. Just a sound, deep below the sand, that never seems to go away. So, I'm probably never doing DoorDash again after what happened last month. I know how this sounds, but I swear this really happened to me. I'd been delivering in Phoenix for like 6 months, just trying to make some extra cash while I'm in school. Nothing crazy ever happened, just the usual stuff like people not tipping or giving wrong addresses. But this one house, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not going to give you the exact address because I don't want a bunch of people showing up there bothering whoever lives in the area now, but this was in the Camelback Corridor. You know that stretch with all the strip malls and older neighborhoods mixed in. It started on a Tuesday. I got an order for this address on Camelback Road, somewhere in the 4800 block, I think it was. Simple enough. GPS took me right there, and it was this old adobe house, kind of run down but not abandoned or anything. Delivered the food to this older guy, maybe 60-something. He was nice enough, tipped okay, nothing weird. But then, Thursday, I get another order. Same exact address in the 4800 block of Camelback. Except, when I put it in my GPS, it takes me to Indian School Road instead, like 6 blocks south. I'm like, okay, maybe I wrote it down wrong the first time. But when I get there, it's the exact same house. Same cracked driveway, same rusted mailbox, same guy who answers the door. He even says, "Oh hey, you again," like he remembers me. I probably should have said something right then. But you know how it is. You just want to finish your deliveries and go home. The weird part is, I started paying attention after that. The house kept moving. Not like moving while I was looking at it or anything crazy like that. But every time I got an order for that address, my GPS would route me somewhere different. McDowell Road, then Thomas, then back to Camelback, but like 8 blocks east of where it was before. My friend Marcus thinks I'm losing it. He's like, "Dude, you're just getting confused. Phoenix is huge. Streets all look the same." But I know what I saw. It was always the same house, same everything. Even had this distinctive saguaro cactus in the front yard that was split at the top, kind of looked like it was giving you the finger. The really messed up part happened about 2 weeks ago. I got the order again, and this time the GPS sent me to this empty lot on 32nd Street. Just dirt and weeds, I'm sitting there thinking the app glitched out when I see this old adobe house way back in the desert, maybe a quarter mile off the road. No driveway, no mailbox, nothing. But I could see that split saguaro clear as day. I called the customer, same phone number I'd been calling all along. Guy answers and says, "Yeah, just come on back. You know where I am." I mean, I wanted to just cancel the order right there, but I needed the money, and it was like a $30 payout with tip included. So I grabbed the food and started walking through the desert. My phone kept losing signal, which never happens in Phoenix. When I finally got to the house, the guy was standing in the doorway waiting for me. Same guy, but he looked, I don't know, older maybe, more tired? He takes the food and goes, "Thanks for finding me. I know it's getting harder." Then he hands me $40 cash and says, "You probably won't be seeing me much longer." I wanted to ask what he meant, but honestly, I just wanted to get out of there. When I walked back to my car, I kept looking over my shoulder, and I swear the house looked smaller each time. By the time I got to the road, I couldn't see it at all. Haven't gotten an order for that address since. I even drove by all the places where I'd seen the house before. Nothing. Just regular houses and businesses, none of them adobe, none of them with that split saguaro. Marcus says, maybe the guy moved or stopped ordering delivery, but I keep thinking about what he said. "You probably won't be seeing me much longer." Like he knew something I didn't. I don't know. Maybe I was just working too many late shifts and getting confused. But I've been doing DoorDash in other parts of town now, and I always check the GPS route twice before I head out. Just in case. I'm only telling this because my roommate Jake graduated last month and moved back to California, so I figure it doesn't matter anymore. But something really weird was going on at his job, and I think someone should know about it. Jake was a senior at ASU, astronomy major, and he got this job doing overnight security at Lowell Observatory up in Flagstaff. Yeah, the real one where they discovered Pluto. I'm not going to say exactly which buildings he had access to or anything about security codes, obviously, but he worked 3 nights a week, just him and all these massive telescopes. Paid pretty well, too, like $18 an hour, which was way better than anything I was making. At first, he loved it. He'd come back Tuesday and Thursday mornings talking about how cool it was being alone with all that equipment, getting to see stuff through the telescopes when his rounds were done. Management was okay with it as long as he did his security checks every hour, but after maybe 2 months, Jake started acting different. More tired, kind of jumpy. I figured it was just the night shift messing with his sleep schedule. We've all been there, right? Then, one morning, he comes home and he's like, "Dude, I need to ask you something, and you're gonna think I'm crazy." I'm getting ready for my 9 a.m. class, barely awake, so I'm like, whatever, just ask. He tells me that every Tuesday night, not Wednesday or Thursday, just Tuesday, around 3 a.m., all the telescopes start moving on their own. Not all at once, but one by one. They all end up pointing at the same spot in the sky. Just this empty patch where there's nothing visible. I'm like, okay, so they're automated or something? Maybe they're doing calibration? But Jake says no, that's the thing. He asked his supervisor about it, and the guy just says it's been happening for years. Some kind of glitch in the computer system they can't figure out. They've had tech people out there, replaced parts, updated software, nothing fixes it. Happens every Tuesday like clockwork. Jake shows me this video on his phone. It's dark and grainy, but you can definitely see these huge telescopes slowly rotating, all moving to point in the same direction. It's actually kind of creepy when you see it. Very deliberate, like they know exactly where they're going. Here's the really weird part, Jake says. I looked up what they're all pointing at. Used the computer system to figure out the exact coordinates. There's nothing there. No star, no planet, no galaxy, just empty space. I probably should have been more concerned, but honestly, I was more worried about getting to class on time. I told him to just ignore it, do his job, collect his paycheck, but it kept bothering him. He started staying up all night on Tuesdays even when he wasn't working, trying to research what could be at those coordinates. He found some old forum posts from amateur astronomers talking about the same thing, telescopes at different observatories occasionally pointing to this same empty region. Most people figured it was just a software bug that got copied from one system to another. The thing that really freaked Jake out happened about a month before he graduated. He's doing his 3 a.m. security round, and all the telescopes are doing their usual Tuesday thing, all pointing up at nothing. But this time, he decides to actually look through one of them. He comes home that morning white as a sheet. Barely says anything to me, just goes straight to his room and sleeps until like 4 p.m. When he finally comes out, I ask him what happened. There was something there, he says. I don't know what it was, but there was definitely something there. I ask him what he saw, and he just shakes his head. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm not looking through those telescopes anymore. He finished out his last few weeks at the job, but he told me he just did his security rounds and ignored the telescopes completely on Tuesday nights. Never looked through them again. Jake never told me exactly what he saw that night. Even when he was packing up to leave, I asked him one more time, and he just said, "Some things you're better off not knowing about." I tried looking up Lowell Observatory online after he left, see if anyone else has talked about weird stuff happening there. Found some old Reddit posts about strange lights and equipment malfunctions, but nothing specific about the Tuesday thing. I don't know. Maybe it really was just a software glitch, and Jake psyched himself out. But I've never seen him that shaken up about anything before or since. And the way he talked about it, like whatever he saw was still bothering him months later. He's doing good now, though, got a job at some planetarium in LA. I asked him if their telescopes do anything weird, and he just laughed and said, "Nope, and I'm keeping it that way." Okay, so I know this is going to sound insane, but I need to tell someone about what happened when my girlfriend and I went to Scottsdale last weekend. We're probably never using Airbnb again. We'd been planning this little getaway for months, you know? Both of us had been stressed with work, and we found this cute casita in Old Town Scottsdale. I'm not going to link the actual Airbnb listing because that wouldn't be fair to whoever owns the place now, but it was one of those typical desert modern places you see all over that area. Private patio, hot tub, all that stuff. The photos looked amazing, and the host had 5-star reviews, super responsive to messages. Her name was Maria, and her profile said she'd been hosting for like 4 years. The listing said self-check-in, which was perfect because we were getting in pretty late Friday night. Maria messaged us the code for the lockbox and said to make ourselves at home. Standard stuff. We get there around 11 p.m., find the key, let ourselves in. Place is exactly like the photos. Really nice, clean, had that desert modern vibe. We're both tired from the drive, so we just grabbed some water and went to bed. Here's where it gets weird. I wake up Saturday morning, and there's fresh coffee already made in the kitchen. Not like left over from the day before, I mean hot, fresh coffee in a pot that wasn't there the night before. And our bed was made, like perfectly made with hospital corners and everything. I wake up my girlfriend Sarah, and I'm like, "Did you make coffee?" She's like, "No, she was dead asleep until I woke her up." We're both confused, but you know how it is when you're on vacation. You don't want to make a big deal out of nothing. Maybe Maria had a cleaning person come by or something. Sarah texts Maria to thank her for the coffee and ask if someone had been by the house. Maria responds pretty quickly saying she doesn't know what we're talking about, and nobody should have been there. She seems genuinely confused. We decide to just forget about it and enjoy our weekend. Go out, explore Scottsdale, hit some bars, have a good time. Come back late Saturday night, crash hard. Sunday morning, same thing. Fresh coffee, bed made perfectly. This time, there's also a plate of cut fruit on the counter. Mango and papaya, really nicely presented. And get this, the towels we'd used for the hot tub were folded and put away, even though we'd left them on the patio chairs. Now we're actually freaked out. Sarah calls Maria directly this time, and Maria swears up and down that she hasn't been to the property. She lives in Phoenix, like an hour away, and she's been home all weekend with her family. She sounds genuinely concerned and says she's going to come check on the place. While we're waiting for Maria, Sarah starts looking more closely at the Airbnb listing on her phone. That's when she notices something really weird. She shows me Maria's host profile, and it says, "Joined in September 2019, last active 1 day ago. But then Sarah scrolls down to the reviews, and there are recent ones from just last month talking about how helpful and responsive Maria was. 5 stars. People saying she went above and beyond. Normal stuff. Sarah's like, this doesn't make sense. If she's been active, why does her profile say she joined in 2019? So we start Googling Maria's name plus Scottsdale, just curious. And we find this obituary from November 2019. Maria Gonzalez, age 52, Scottsdale resident. Survived by her husband and 2 daughters. Same last name as our host, same general area. We're sitting there staring at Sarah's phone and I'm like, that's probably just a coincidence. Maria's a common name. But then Sarah finds the obituary photo and it's definitely the same woman from the Airbnb profile. Same face, same smile. No question about it. We pack up our stuff immediately. We're throwing everything in the car when Maria pulls up in this white SUV. She gets out and walks over to us. And I swear to God, she looks exactly like the photo from the obituary. Mid-50s, kind of short, really friendly demeanor. Is everything okay? She asks. You said there were some issues with the house? Sarah and I look at each other, and I can tell she's thinking the same thing I am. But what are you supposed to say? Hey, we think you're dead? I just tell Maria that we had a family emergency and need to head home early. She's really understanding about it. Says she'll refund us for the night we're not staying. Super nice, exactly like you'd expect from someone with perfect reviews. As we're driving away, Sarah pulls up the obituary again on her phone. Same woman, no doubt about it. But there she was, standing in the driveway, looking completely normal and alive. We've been going back and forth about this for a week now. Sarah thinks maybe it was just someone who looked similar, or maybe the obituary was for a different Maria Gonzalez. But I keep thinking about that coffee and the perfectly made bed. Who else would have a key to the place? I checked the Airbnb listing yesterday and it's still active. Maria's profile still says last active 1 day ago. New reviews coming in, all 5 stars, all talking about what a great host she is. I don't know what to think. Maybe we just psyched ourselves out with the Google search. But I can't shake the feeling that someone was taking care of us that weekend, and it wasn't anyone who was supposed to be alive. Sarah wants to book the place again just to see what happens. But honestly, I think some things are better left alone.